Uplift GN back here with the 100% guaranteed will happen Stanley Cup playoff bracket. At the time of recording this, there's just a couple games left of the regular season, but every single playoff matchup has already been set, so we already know who will be facing off against who. We got 16 teams, all trying to win the Stanley Cup, and this is my prediction of how every matchup will go and who I have eventually winning the Stanley Cup. The first matchup we will be going over is the sorry, spelling mistake, guys. Just your average Flyers fan making a little oopsie spelling mistake. The New Jersey Devils will be facing off against the Carolina Hurricanes in round 1. In this series, I have the Hurricanes winning game 1, the Hurricanes winning game 2, the Hurricanes winning game 3, and in game 4, I do have the Carolina Hurricanes winning and sweeping the New Jersey Devils. Did I make this prediction because I think it would be funny and entertaining if the New Jersey Devils got swept in the first round? Yeah. But this is a real thing that could happen, and I honestly do think it will because the Hurricanes are a well-oiled machine. Sure, they did trade away Mikko Rantanen, even though I dislike Mikko Rantanen, and I think it was a good move. All that aside, you cannot deny that is loss of star talent. But the New Jersey Devils tied with the Montreal Canadiens for the least amount of points to get into the playoffs, so I do think that will play a part of it. They did not have a fantastic regular season. They did win 42 games, however, so it's not nothing to scoff at. However, I don't think that this team does have the star power. And will it be 4 games? I mean, it could be. That's what I'm predicting will happen today. But I do have the Hurricanes as the first team to move on to the second round. Our second matchup of round 1, we have the Montreal Canadiens clinching their playoff spot yesterday in a win against the Carolina Hurricanes AHL team, matching up against the number 1 ranked Eastern Conference team, the Washington Capitals. In this series, I have the Washington Capitals winning game 1, the Washington Capitals winning game 2, the Montreal Canadiens winning game 3, game 4 goes to the Washington Capitals, game 5, the Montreal Canadiens get back in the win column, and in game 6, I do have the Caps closing it out in Montreal. I am very nervous for the Washington Capitals goaltending because my God has it stunk. And honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even be that surprised if they did end up losing to the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. However, I do think that their offense and defense will be enough and they will get past the Montreal Canadiens in a tough 6-game series. Next up, we have the Battle of Ontario, which has never happened in my lifetime, so this will be my first time seeing it, which will be interesting. This series is going to be very high energy, very electric. The fans are going to be very into it. I think it's overall good for the sport, and this is exactly how I have the series panning out. First game of the series will be played in Toronto. Game 1, home opener, I do think the Leafs will win it. Game 2, I also do have going to the Maple Leafs. Game 3, first game in Ottawa, I think it will be Maple Leafs again. Game 4, we're going to change it up. We'll go Sens with this one. And Game 5, I think the Leafs will put a nice little bow on this series and win it in 5. Although I don't mean any disrespect to the Senators, I know it may look bad, a 5-game series. However, I do think it will be a hard, long-fought 5 games for both teams. I just think Toronto is going to be a completely different animal in the playoffs this year. I mean, there's no Boston, there's no boogeyman. I think that this year's playoffs will say a lot about this Leafs team. Last matchup on the Eastern Conference side of things in the first round, we have the Florida Panthers visiting the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is going to be a good one. But let's jump into it. Game 1, I have going to the Florida Panthers. Game 2, I have going to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got a 1-1 split heading into Game 3 in Florida, where I have the Tampa Bay Lightning taking Game 3. Game 4, I have going to the Florida Panthers. Game 5, back in Tampa now, I do have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning. Game 6 in Florida, I have the Panthers winning. And in a winner-takes-all Game 7, I do have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning Game 7 at home. A 7-game series where I think it's Andrei Vasilevsky and Tampa Bay's forward group, which does it for me. I think they will end up beating the Florida Panthers in 7 and advancing on to the second round in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Finally heading over to the western side of the bracket now, where we get a very interesting first matchup against the St. Louis Blues going up against the Winnipeg Jets. Let's waste no time. In the first game at home, I do have the Winnipeg Jets taking it. Game 2, I have the Jets winning that one as well. Game 3 in St. Louis, I have the Blues taking the edge in that game. Game 4 of the series, I have the Blues winning again, now a 2-2 series. Game 5 back in Winnipeg, I think the Jets get their momentum back, winning Game 5. And in Game 6, the Jets closed out in St. Louis and win this series in 6 games. Next series now, we do have a very juicy matchup where we have the Colorado Avalanche visiting the Dallas Stars. Game 1 in this series starts in Dallas. I do think the Stars will take Game 1. Game 2, the Avalanche will win this one, splitting the series 1-1. We head to Colorado now, where I think the Avalanche take Game 3, especially in front of that home crowd. Game 4 will go to Dallas. They'll win this one. Game 5 back in Dallas now. I think the Stars take the series lead here 3-2. Game 6, the Avalanche show they're not going down without a fight, winning Game 6. However, in Game 7, I do have the Colorado Avalanche upsetting the Dallas Stars in 7 games. The reason I use the word upsetting like that is because the Stars, as we know right now, are in a bit of turmoil. They end the season on a 7-game losing streak. Jason Robertson appeared to be injured in the last game of the regular season. A meaningless game, I might add. There's just so much turmoil going on with the Stars right now, so much uncertainty, that it feels more safer to place your bet on Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, and the Colorado Avalanche, which is exactly what I decided to do. Another intriguing first-round matchup, we have the Edmonton Oilers going to visit the LA Kings for the 4th year in a row. Game 1, I do have going to the LA Kings. Game 2, I have the LA Kings winning again, taking a 2-0 lead. Game 3, I think back in Edmonton, goes to the Oilers. Game 4, I have going to the Oilers as well. Game 5, back in LA, I think the Kings take this one. Game 6, back in Edmonton, I think the LA Kings close out this series, winning in 6 games. The Oilers have just been pretty much a dead man walking all season. They've had so many injuries, including ones to McDavid, Draisaitl, Stuart Skinner. And I think the stability in net that Darcy Kemper holds for the Kings is what pushes me in their direction in 6 games. And I do think that they will be moving on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Last matchup of the first round, we have Minnesota facing off against the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably one of the more tamer series of the first round. I'd say this and the Carolina Devils one. Game 1 in Vegas, I do have the Vegas Golden Knights winning it. Game 2 in Vegas, I also have the Vegas Golden Knights winning it, taking a 2-0 lead. And now the series heads back to Minnesota for Game 3. In Game 3, I have the Minnesota Wild winning this one. In Game 4, I think Vegas takes one on the road. And finally, in Game 5, I think Vegas closes out the series, another 5-game series. And I think if you are a Vegas Golden Knights fan, you should be very happy, very ecstatic. Out of all the playoff teams in the West, I think Minnesota is probably the team that Vegas wanted to play the most. I think they match up the best against them. And I think it will show this series as the Vegas Golden Knights win in 5. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. Drop in a comment who you think is going to win each playoff round or who you have winning the Stanley Cup. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Peace.